been great. I've had a lovely reaction everywhere I've gone. There's been, all the tickets have gone for the events and signings, and the school visits have gone very well too. So I had no idea I was well known here.
Okay.
I knew I'd sold some books, but I didn't know that people would be excited to see me, and they have been. So that's lovely. I love this country. I've been here as a tourist, so I was excited about having a free holiday, but it hasn't been a free holiday. I've been really, really busy and just working, but that's fine. But I love this country. I always think there's magic in the air in this country, and obviously in the United Kingdom, people of Indian heritage are a huge part of the culture, and so I don't know. You feel at home here as a British person. The Coldplay concert. I'm joking. Well, the food. I know that sounds like an obvious answer, but the food is just so great.
Okay.
So every meal I've had has been delicious, and I've stuck to Indian food, apart from for breakfast. Well, forgive me, but I've had some toast. but it's been incredible. So I love that. I feel he would hate it. He would be insulted. Well, we shared the same illustrator in Quentin Blake for my first two books. And, certainly I'm a fan, so I guess he had an influence on me. And also his books were the first that I sort of read, first sort of proper storybooks, other than sort of picture books that I read as a kid. So his influence on me is great, and I sometimes reread his work because I think he's like the gold standard in terms of the sort of thing that I want to do in terms of comic, heartfelt books for kids.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like there's other things that are great, like obviously Harry Potter, Alice in Wonderland, the Narnia books and everything, but I don't ever feel that I'm in that sort of bracket,
Right.
So for me, he's someone to sort of learn from, someone I admire for his work.
Right.
I think he was quite a difficult personality.
Are you?
A difficult personality. I don't think I'm as cranky as he was, no.
Okay.
But yeah, he's great. I mean, it's nice to be compared to your idols, but you shouldn't take too much notice of what people think about you, because there's people who might think you're good and there's people who think you're awful.
Yeah.
And if you only listen to the people who think you're good, then what about the other people? You just do what you do. Right. You do your best.
Right.
There's a great thing, Michael Caine, the actor Sir Michael Caine, he said, I knew I wasn't the best actor in the world, but I knew I wasn't the worst either. I just had to do my best. Yeah. I thought it was a good way of looking at things. You just do your best, don't you?
Right.
I'm never going to be, Lewis Carroll or something. I'm never going to be Roald Dahl. I'm never going to be J.K. Rowling, but I still have a place, and I'm not, it's not a race, you know what I mean? It's not about being the, it's not like it's taste, isn't it? And people's tastes are different. I think, as much as I want to write funny books, I want child to take away something, a theme of some kind that, is going to make them think. I think that's what it is, really. And also, I do think, just because it's a funny book doesn't mean you can't deal with some serious themes. Right. And there are things that really trouble children, aren't they? Like fitting in, because you're just sort of starting out in life and you worry you might be different, not fit in some way for one reason or another. Most kids, experience some kind of bullying of some sort. It might not always be serious, but someone who doesn't like being teased or something. And in my book Ratburger, I actually redeem the bully, which doesn't often happen in books.
Yes.
Because you find out why the bully's a bully, because she's bullied by her father. Yeah. And then there's some, so she has a chance at redemption, which I thought was important, and I hadn't seen much of before. I don't know. I hadn't seen it before. I'm sure someone else has done it. And yes, but I can deal with themes like dementia in Grandpa's Great Escape.
Yes.
bereavement in Gangster Granny.
Yeah.
And I feel it makes it interesting for me as well. You know, I don't always want to do that. Sometimes I just want to write something funny.
Yeah.
But I think it makes it more interesting for me to have to deal with some, more serious topics.
Right.
Just makes it more interesting, creative process for me.
Right.
And then I think, oh, good, it's gonna, jokes are great in the moment, aren't they? You enjoy them as you read them.
Right.
But the emotional stuff is going to stay with you longer.
Absolutely.
And that's going to make it's going to make perhaps at its most, the biggest claim you could say is that, when you read a story or see a movie or something or hear a song, sometimes they can change the way you think and feel about the world.
Right.
And so that's art at its, very best. I'm not saying I've made people do that, but certainly, just to make people think is great.
Right.
When I was a kid at school in the 70s and 80s, all the history we were taught, all the literature we were taught was just, British history. So we didn't learn. You never learned about any of the bad things that Britain did, and you weren't aware of authors from around the world very much.
Right.
Not until you were older. Mm-hmm. But my son, now things have changed, and so my son and I have, he has come home with stories of Indian origin that we've been looking at together, and I've really enjoyed because it's a sort of, I don't know, there's a sort of magical realist kind of thing in some of the stories, aren't there? Mm-hmm. And so I've really enjoyed those. And I'm a massive fan of Salman Rushdie, who I think is, I was going to say he was the greatest living writer, but I also love this Japanese-British writer called Kazuo Ishiguro. Have you ever heard of him? He wrote Remains of the Day, that became a film.
Yes.
He's my absolute favourite.
Okay.
But Salman Rushdie is my
second
favourite. Yes. I got to meet them both, actually. I was very excited. I love being a dad the most. Mm-hmm. I'm a dad to an 11-year-old son, and all that really matters to me is that I'm a good dad and he has a happy childhood. But in answer to your question, when you're performing on stage, you get the instant buzz of being on stage and the instant buzz of hearing some laughter.
Right.
When you're writing a book, it's very solitary.
Right.
And you don't get that buzz. You might be pleased, you think you've come up with something good and you're pleased, but you've got no one to share it with because you're just in your own world writing this book. So I think appearing on stage is like a sprint, and writing a book is like a marathon. So perhaps at the end of the marathon you might feel more elated, but it takes longer to get there. That's how I think about it. I mean, the really exciting bit writing a book is you're looking at a computer screen for months and months and months, and then finally the book is designed, illustrated, and you're given it. It's a physical thing, and you can't believe it because it was just up here, and now it's this thing. Yeah. And there's thousands of copies of it, and you're going to go around the world, and you go, that's amazing.
Your ideas multiply.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Subscribe to Midday India. Get direct notifications on all our videos by clicking on the bell icon.